Welcome back to my channel, guys. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, drop a comment down below, and share this video with your colleagues and friends. Today's video is going to be all about packed meals. So let's get into the lesson objectives. The first thing you should be able to do is to formulate a definition for the term packed meals. You should also be able to list suitable foods that may be included in packed meals. Third, you should outline factors to consider when planning packed meals. Then, identify suitable containers that can be used when packing meals. And finally, you should be able to discuss suitable guidelines to be followed when planning meals. So let's get straight into the discussion points. Looking back at the objectives for the lesson, the first one states that we should be able to formulate a definition for the term packed meals. Now, by definition, a packed meal is any meal that is prepared at home and is packaged and taken somewhere else to be eaten. And oftentimes, persons think about packed meals being lunch or a late snack. Now, in case you're wondering who uses packed meals, in most cases, it's often children and adults who take their meals either to school or to work, or it may just be an individual who wants to take food with them when they're going on a private or public outing. The next thing we must know about packed meals are some events or places that you may be able to take packed meals. And you can take them to sporting events, you can take them on field trips, you can take them to school or work, you can also take them on picnics. If you have any other ideas, leave them in the comment down below and let's have a discussion. When preparing packed meals, there are certain points that you must consider if you want to be successful, and I'm going to share them with you. The first is to include a variety of flavors, textures, and colors. Just because it's a packed meal doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be bland or it has to be boring. You want it to be exciting and inviting. Second, pack sufficient foods to meet the dietary needs of the individuals based on age, gender, etc. So basically what this is saying is that different individuals have different dietary requirements, meaning that they have different foods that they must eat based on who they are and the type of work that they may do, for example. So the meal of a 3-year-old may be completely different from the meal of a teenager or an adult. Next, you want to consider how will the meal be transported. Your packed meal should be light enough to carry and easy to pack. So when you think about carrying your meal with you, it shouldn't be stressing or it shouldn't be too much of a hassle. The next thing you want to bear in mind is the person who will be eating the meal. You want to ensure that the meal is sufficient for the person, or you want to ensure that it is inviting if it's in a case of a child or a toddler. Next, you want to include foods that are ready to eat with minimum cutlery or waste. So you want to ensure that you pack foods that are not going to require a lot of assembling or excess amount of tools or equipment to consume. Next, you want to avoid foods that can be contaminated easily, because in some cases when you are packing meals, you're not going to have them right away. So you want to ensure that you include meals or food that is not going to spoil easily if you don't consume it straight away. Which leads me to my next point. What are some suitable foods that you can include in packed meals? Alright, and when you're selecting your foods, it is dependent on how the meal will be transported and when the meal will be eaten. Alright, so some suitable foods include whole fruits and vegetables such as mangoes, tomato, cucumbers, apples, and of course you can include things like sandwiches or pastries that have protein fillings. For example, you can have an egg sandwich, a ham sandwich, a chicken sandwich, you name it. The possibilities and the options are endless. You can also include salads. For example, you can include a wholesome potato salad, or you can include vegetable salads. You can also include desserts like cupcakes and donuts. You can also include cookies and biscuits. I mean, who doesn't love sweets? And of course, when it comes down to beverages, you can pack either hot or cold beverages. All right. Next, we're moving on to some suitable containers that you can use when you're preparing your packed meals. Now, in most cases, Some persons like to use lunch boxes, plastic lunch boxes that come with the covers or lids attached to them. You can use vacuum flasks, and you can use these for both hot and cold beverages. You can use plastic wraps, paper bags, aluminum foil, plastic bottles, and polythene bags. Of course, the container that you choose to use is dependent on the type of meal that you are packing and how the meal will be transported. So what are some guidelines to consider when packing meals? The first one is to ensure that all containers are carefully and tightly covered to prevent spilling and wasting of food. Number 2, avoid using foods that tend to spoil easily in heat, for example, mayonnaise. Next, when packing, place the heavier foods at the bottom in order to prevent delicate foods from becoming crushed when transported. And try to avoid dressing salads ahead of time, as this will cause vegetables to wilt. So in this case, you want to pack the dressing in a separate container, and then when it's time for you to consume the meal, you can dress the salad yourself. So of course, we're going to the exciting part. We're going to look at some samples now of packed meals. So in this packed meal, you can see that they included boiled eggs, steamed broccoli with rice, cucumbers, and cherry tomatoes. And of course, you can customize your packed meal to your liking. This one has egg sandwich, apple, vegetable salad, carrots, and water. And of course, if you're not a fan of these options, you can change them. So this one is on the lighter side. So this person included grapes, almond, crackers, and cheese to their packed lunch. And this next one has ham slices, cucumber slices, it has crackers, it has fruit, and it has yogurt on the side. So it's a bit of a lighter option, but it's still healthy. If you made it to the end of the video, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, drop a comment down below, and share some ideas of topics that you would like to see on my channel.